Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following message that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a message that was forwarded to me by one of our admins. The message reads like this. Good morning, Brother Nashi. This is my encounter that I had with a fake pastor. Please keep me as anonymous. It all started with a visit. This visit, it was from the pastor. I had received a call from one of my elder brother that my mom, she was terminally ill and she wanted someone who would look after her at home. They had called her niece, but looking after her auntie had proved to be too much of a task for her, and it was now up to me to make sure that Mama was well taken care of. I asked my hubby for permission, and he agreed that I should be with Mama during her moments of need. I took with me my youngest daughter, who was 3 months old by then, and left the twins in the care of their father, as I did not want to disrupt their schooling. I found Mama. When I found Mama, she was sick, lying on the bed. She did not even recognize me as her own daughter. Her brother, my uncle, he had advised me to respect her last wishes as she was in her last moments. But if it was time to go, I would let her go peacefully, but because she was not dead, I had vowed that I would do anything in my power to save her. Mama went for all kind of tests. We went for ovarian, blood tests, you name it, but the doctors could not find anything that was wrong with my mom. They had said that the results showed nothing that was abnormal. I even went to the specialist trying to find a cure for this illness, which was not diagnosed by results. All the results, when they came back with the same results, that they could not find anything that was wrong with her. Some even recommended counseling, for they thought that maybe Mama was the one who was all depressed, but all these efforts proved to be futile. We even engaged the services of a traditional healer who had told us that we needed to brew beer so as to appease the ancestors. Elderly women had been gathered to start the process. The cleansing ceremony had been done as per the instructions of the traditional healer, but her situation had not changed at all. She was still sick and could not distinguish between night and day. I did everything humanly possible for Mama to be well, but wherever I went, I reached a dead end, until one day, before Mother was sick, she used to be lent money to people and they would give her back with interest. One day, a lady called Linda came home wanting to borrow money from Mama, but I had told her that my mom, she was no longer in that business anymore, as she was not feeling really well. We instantly clicked with this Linda, and she told me that she knew one person that could help my mother to get well soon. My eyes glimmered with hope, but because we had tried everything humanly possible, but Mother was not getting better at all. Linda introduced me to this pastor, the man that I'll call Amos. Pastor Amos had his own church, and he had invited me to his church to pray for my mother, as well as to revive myself spiritually. Truth be told, when Mama's illness had started, my prayer life had become non-existent due to the problems that I was facing on a day-to-day basis. He had prophesied, and where he came to where I was standing in the church, that I was seeking help for my mother, he pointed me when I was amongst the other church congregants, and he started walking towards the place where I was standing, and he told me that God had answered all of my prayers. As he was shouting into the microphone, as his booming voice came out of the speakers, when he said that God has answered you, my daughter, I started crying and I started shaking uncontrollably, because I was like, God, so God, indeed you are there. You have heard my prayer. He promised me that he was going to help my mother with the prayers and that she was going to be well. He had to see me after the service had ended. When the service had ended, I went there to see Pastor Amos in his office, and he needed me to do just one thing. Well, desperate times always calls for desperate actions. When he said that I had to do only one thing, I immediately agreed because it was a matter between life and death. I was willing to do anything so that my mom can be given these prayers by this powerful prophet who had pointed me out amongst his congregants. The pastor came home and did a prayer vigil and for my mom, and for the first time in months after that prayer vigil, Mama asked that we cook pap and beef stew for her. We rejoiced, for this had been nothing but a miracle. She was hardly eating since the sickness had taken over her life. Day by day, we saw Mama improving for the better. When I saw that indeed God had operated using Pastor Amos, I then became a regular at his church for my mother's recovery, because this was indeed a miracle. That pastor organized another prayer vigil for his congregation. The prayer was to be held in a mountain. Well, to me, I did not find it too difficult to have all night in the mountains. It was just a prayer. The prayer was held without any problems. At around 3 a.m., the pastor came to me and he said, "Do you remember the one thing that I asked you to do for me back then?" "Yes, I do. Yes, I do," I replied to the pastor. "Now this is the time." This pastor said to me, "If it is sexual advances, please do not resist, because the Holy Spirit is using my body to remove some evil spirits that has been placed upon your mother's body. So I cannot sleep with your mom since she is really ill. So I want to give you the glory of God. Then you are going to transfer that glory of the Lord that I would have inserted into your womb, into your mom, so that your mom can be healed." I was confused, Brother Nashi, and it was really cold on that night. And that pastor led me away from the crowd, and we walked about 2 kilometers through the bushes, and we reached a lake. This is where he said, "I want you to perform that favor for me. Let the water spirits, as I'll be baptizing you with my sperm, bear witness that indeed the glory of the Lord is going to be inserted into your womb." At this moment, many thoughts started to cross my mind. What is going on? What is this pastor doing to me? Then this pastor said, "Do you not trust me after I have miraculously healed your mother? Come on, you can do better than that," he said as he was whispering into my ears, as he was busy touching my breast. Brother Nashi, this man, he did whatever that he wanted with my body whilst we were making love by the side of the lake. I don't know if I can say this was making love. He was the one who was enjoying everything, but tears were just flowing down my face. This man, the way that he had abused me, he had seduced me by performing that miracle on my mom. After he had finished making love to me, he said that the glory of the Lord indeed had entered into my womb, but I was supposed to return back to him. That all-night prayer ended, and I went back home to my mother. My mom had fully recovered, and it was time for me to head back to my own house and to be with the twins and my husband. I even went to the church and I said goodbye. The pastor said that he wanted to see me very soon. After I had left my mom's town, now I am back with my husband. Life has continued as normal. And at the place where I am working as a janitor at a nearby school. Brother Nashi, the problem is that whenever I look at myself, whenever I look at my husband, I feel so dirty, because my husband does not know that I once slept with a pastor so that my mom can be cured. Can we say that this pastor is indeed a true man of God? Or is he someone who is just hiding behind the name of him being called a pastor? Maybe he's just a magician. But when I look at my mom, she fully recovered. This is what confuses me. Is it written in the Bible that a pastor can sleep with you so that he can insert the glory of the Lord into your womb. He said that this had to be done. And why is it? He said that the spirits of the water, the marine spirits, were the ones that were going to be a witness as he was sleeping with me, so that they can take account of the fact that the glory of the Lord had been sent from the heavens into his body. And when he was spreading his sperms into my body, into my womb, then the glory of the Lord, I was actually receiving it. It confuses me a lot. Up until this day, I do not even know where to start. I have never told anyone this story of mine. This is the first time that I am letting it out. It has confused me. It has affected the way that I pray, because I do not know how does God has a connection with the marine world. It is so confusing to me. I have since stopped going to church because of this, Brother Nashi. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admins. This pastor is just a fake pastor, my dear sister. There is no two ways about it. This man is just a fake prophet who took advantage of you. And I think that maybe he takes his powers from the marine world. That is why he went to sleep with you by the riverside, because this is part of his rituals that he was performing so that your mom can receive her healing. Strange things do happen in this world.